Hey guys, it's Kaylee. I am back with another what sold from last week video. Sales this past week were still not great, which is to be expected with being in the middle of summer. This is just a time of the year, every single year, that at least for clothing resellers, sales are slow. Try to combat that with listing more items and increasing my average sale price. That way the items that do sell are ones that have enough value to get me through until the busier season. With all that being said, let's dive into the what sold video.
Sales were slightly better than last week, but not by much. As you guys know, I haven't been going into depth of this report here on the screen, but still showing the report here on the screen for anyone that is interested. But if you're just listening and you want to get into the items, I will do that for you. So everything that you see here on the screen happened between June 25th through July 1st, so still in the dead of summer. In total, I sold 207 items. That's between two platforms, eBay and Poshmark. On eBay, I sold 132. On Poshmark, I sold 75. Gross item sales were almost $5,500. And then my average sale price for just the item itself, excluding shipping, is $26.47. And so I am slowly but surely inching my way up. And as I've mentioned in many videos, currently trying to increase average sale price. And so hopefully you'll see some of the brands and items that I'm trying to do that with here in today's video. And lastly, before we jump into the items, I know you guys ask a lot of questions about where I get my items from. So I just want to say before we jump in, some of these items that I'm showing you are from thrift stores in my local area that Nikki, myself, or one of my employees picked up. And then some of them lately are from you guys watching because you guys have reached out about purchasing death piles. Maybe you're getting out of reselling, maybe you have too much. Some people are interested in sourcing for us and sending us product. And so we've explored a couple of avenues that way. So some of these items are from that. And then when I mention wholesale, there is one, I'm going to call her a supplier that I purchase from. And it is not liquidated items or like new tags, bulk buys essentially. It is quite literally somebody sourcing in another state at thrift stores doing the same thing that I'm doing. And that's who I refer to as a wholesaler. And this person is consistent every single week. And they are the only person and business wholesaler that has given me permission to share their information. So for those of you that were asking, I have mentioned it in a couple of videos now, but if you are interested in potentially getting a wholesaler for yourself, the one that I use is Trash Pandas Wholesale on Instagram. So if you go onto Instagram, you can search Trash Pandas Wholesale, and I believe there's a link to contact. There might even be a link to an application. I know sometimes there are wait lists depending on how busy a person is, but if you want to get on the wait list now, I'm sure that a few months from now, you might be wishing you were on it. So wanted to share that. It's been an absolute adventure on all fronts that I mentioned just now, and really thankful to have all of these sourcing opportunities. It has made a tremendous impact in my business. So wanted to share that with you guys. And for those of you that were asking, give a little bit of an explanation as to where these items are coming from. And currently it's a combination of all of them, but we are still going out and physically sourcing ourselves as well for just about the same amount of time that we were before. We're just focusing on higher valued items. So let's dive in to this video. All right, the first one is definitely a fall and winter item, but a brand that in my opinion could sell any time of the year. It is Loro Piana. And this is, I believe, the first time I found anything that was strictly just from Loro Piana. Most of the times this is like a fabric company that collaborates with other brands. For example, I recently sold a J. Crew men's like vest waistcoat, and so it was J. Crew, but on the inside it had the Loro Piana fabric tag because it used Loro Piana wool. So you need to look for both because both are very valuable. And if you see anything Loro Piana, I would definitely recommend giving it a look up. But like I said, this is the first time I believe I've ever found just strictly this brand and not in collaboration with someone else. So I was really excited to find this. This is 100% cashmere. And this was the indicator on the outside. There was no like brand label on the back of the neck on the inside to figure this out. I strictly saw this and then went inside and saw this. So some brands are a little bit more trickier. They're a little bit more hidden than some of your other brands. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And really anything 100% cashmere, I personally look up because there's a lot of value in it, both in bread and butter brands and bolos. So this was a definite yes. Some of these sweaters, this is a women's cashmere sweater. Some of them I saw going for over $100. Some of them I saw going for like $60. I personally felt like I had a really good one. However, once I got it back, I realized that there were several small holes throughout, which we did point out and made sure to note. And even with that, I just slightly dropped what I was going to price it for, and it still sold for a crazy amount of money and really quickly. And again, we're in the dead of summer, so a cashmere sweater, that's awesome. It is worth noting that this went on an international sale through the eBay International Shipping Program. So if you don't already have that turned on eBay, it's super simple. It's like a couple of clicks to turn everything on for that and then move forward with it. And they handle pretty much everything, and your shipping that you do on your end looks the same as shipping, domestically. So I would definitely suggest doing that because it's cold somewhere in the world and it's hot somewhere in the world. So you open yourself up to all seasons by doing that. And this is a prime example. I only paid $4.99 for this. With the flaws, we listed for $99.88, so $100. It did sell for our full asking price. And like I said, that was a global sale. Next up, this is a really great women's jeans wear brand to look for. There are only like a handful that I could probably count on one hand that we look for in the women's department. There's just not a lot of great brands there, but this is one of them that, in my opinion, is definitely worth looking for, and it sells really well on Poshmark as well. This is Mother, and what I've learned with this brand is you definitely want to look up the exact style, the size, the color, and all of that because it can make a big difference on where you should price the item. These are called the Mother Hustler ankle fray jeans. These were an all-over pair of white jeans, size 29, so not, a really large size, kind of in the middle, and white. I don't love selling white jeans, but in this brand, it can do well. So like I said, I paid less than $5 for it. We listed for $74.88. It sold very, very quickly at our full asking price. So definitely a brand I'm going to be on the lookout for as I work towards increasing my average sale price. All right, this is a new category that we just started kind of diving into over the last 6 months. It is like camo hunting gear, and we've had a lot of luck with it. I sold a Sitka jacket, I believe, or maybe it was a pair of pants. I had a really rare camo print and it went for like over $100 really quickly. So now I know to look for this brand, right? I think Nikki found this. Yes, she did. And she found it new with tags. It is just a mid-weight like zip pullover by the same brand, Sitka. But she found it new with tags, so that was pretty cool. And now anything all over camo that I'm seeing that looks like any kind of like tactical gear or camo gear, I'm looking it all up because my brain has been opened. My eyes are open to a lot of these brands that I didn't know this was a category that had such high-end brands in it. So definitely worth looking into, and Sitka's definitely a good one. We paid $4.49 for this and listed it for around $70. It ended up selling very quickly on an offer to watcher of $59.40. Next up is more of a bread and butter, but I thought it was worth noting. This falls under like the Y2K category. They are Nike Air Jordan slides, and pretty much Nike Air Jordan with this like Jumpman logo can perform really, really well, just because the older ones fall into the Y2K area and they're just really popular right now. These were a pair of slides. They definitely had some wear to them. We tried to wipe them down the best we could, but they still ended up selling, and we just noted the wear. I paid $7.50 for this. I paid up a little bit, but they had a very high sell-through rate. These also sold on an international sale through that shipping program for my full asking price of $34.88. So, $7.50 into $35. Good return on investment. Not a super high ASP, however, super quick flip, and I'm willing to do that if I know it's going to sell within a few days. Next up is a new brand to me. It is Mio Melly. And this is a brand I had never heard of before. I can't quite remember if the brand itself is really important. I would definitely memorize this brand. You're probably not going to come across it very often, but rather you want to memorize the style. The super oversized, wide leg, login-looky style is really in right now, and these pants are a really great example of a very unique pair of login look pants, and we've been selling a ton of these. So if you see anything super special like this, I would definitely give it a look up, and that brand Mio Melly seems to be a good brand to be on the lookout for. This one did have a couple of flaws. It was missing the size and material tag, so we kind of had to guess on that, but it still sold pretty quickly, so I'm happy with that. And this was a wholesale pickup from that wholesaler I mentioned before. We listed it for $59.88, and it did sell for our full asking price. Next up is they make women's too, but specifically the men's jeans I like picking up. It is Ariat. They also make cowboy boots that do really well, but some of their clothing can do fantastic also. So these are a pair of Ariat M5 straight jeans. This is a line that does pretty well in this brand. Not much else to say about it other than it's usually very high sell-through rate. So high sell-through rate that I paid up for it knowing it wasn't going to sell for very much, but I knew I was going to flip my money really quickly. I paid $14.99 for it, so $15. We listed for about $50. It sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $42.40. Here is another jeanswear brand. I feel like this is like what we're focusing on in this video, but it wasn't intentional. This is another women's wear jeans brand that does really well, and if you find it, I would just pick it up in just about any style. I've had luck selling everything I've found. It is a Goldie, and these are called the Merrill mid-rise straight jeans, and we've talked about it before, but like pretty much anything other than skinny jeans is very popular right now. Not to say that some skinny jeans can't sell for good money or have a high sell-through rate, but you're more likely to come across something worth getting if it is straight leg, boot cut, flare, wide leg, things like that. So I'm always out on the hunt for this. So really love finding this brand. I've only found it maybe a total of 5 times, but every time I get it, I do a little happy dance. I paid $8.99 for these. We listed for around $50. They sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $42.40. And if you're wondering, the offers that I send to watchers is something that I do in bulk on eBay. You can go to your seller hub, and there's like a bulk function that you can send offers to watchers all at once. And I just choose a 15% off, like blanket offer. That is an amount that I'm comfortable with. It doesn't take much off of my profit, and it tends to sell the items quickly. It gives that extra incentive for the buyer to purchase something when they're thinking about that. And I send those out several times a day, try to capture the buyer as soon as they watch an item. So I'm doing it several times a day because the hope is they watch the item within, a couple of hours, they get a 15% off offer. It's just a great incentive to keep them interested in the item and potentially to purchase. And I get a lot of sales by doing that. Next up is another jeans brand that does well. This is Pilcrow, which is an Anthropologie brand. I just realized we spelled anthropology wrong here and they still sold, so that's good. If you look up this brand on eBay, the sell-through rate is not super high. It really depends on the style, but this is definitely a style I would look for, which are the wide leg styles. So these are called the coastal baggy jeans. This is like a really on-trend style right now with the wide leg, the baggy, the paper bag look, all of that factoring in. We got this from wholesale as well. I paid just over $5 for it and we listed it for around $50 and it did sell for our full asking price. That one did take a couple of months to sell, but super happy with the flip. Next up is a brand that is newer to me, but I am now picking it up if I can get it at a decent price. It is, I don't know if it's Reese. I think it is Reese. Reiss. It is a very high quality brand, but unfortunately, at least in my area, most of the thrift stores are pricing this brand up super, super high. So I'm unable to get it most of the time, but if I come across it, pretty much no matter what it is, if I can get it for a decent price, I'm getting it because it does have a good following. This is called the Natalia Knit Polo. And if you didn't know, I'm not sure if we're showing it here. No, we're not. On the inside tag, and also if you find it new with tags, but on the pre-owned inside label, it actually will have the style name in almost all of them, so they're super easy to look up, which is very convenient. I love when brands have the style name on the inside so that you don't have to go searching for it. I paid $8.99 for this, which is paying up a little bit, but like I said, this brand's really good, and we listed it for around $50 and it sold for our full asking price. Recently, within the last 6 months, I picked up several dresses by this brand and they all sold for closer to $100. So definitely a brand worth looking into. All right, next up is a J. Crew piece, and J. Crew blazers, jackets, outerwear in both women's and men's department perform extremely well. There isn't a lot in that category in this brand that doesn't perform well. So when I see something, I'm looking it up. This is a men's corduroy blazer, and you can see it's got the older green label here, but corduroy is still really popular right now. It was also flannel lined, and that always adds value in a jacket if there is lining on the inside, so something to keep in mind. A lot of factor stacking there. I paid $5.99 for this. We listed it for around $45. It sold on an offer to watcher for $38.15. Next up is a gorgeous dress, and this is an example of, something you get just for style purposes alone, just because it really wows you and it has the it factor. So Cachet is not a brand that typically performs well for me. I know it has its ups and downs. Sometimes this brand is popular, sometimes it's not, but it's not typically a brand that I can rely on. However, this is a Y2K era dress. It was made out of acetate. It's got that slinky feel to it, and it is just gorgeous. I mean, the pattern on this alone is worth getting, and like I said, just had a really good gut feeling about it, and apparently the buyer did too. I had a lot of interest on this dress. I paid $4.99 for this. Again, we picked it up strictly off of style alone. We listed it for around $45 and it did sell for our full asking price. I try not to make a lot of style-based decisions. I try to focus on data. However, if you've got something that's really pulling on your heartstrings, get it, try it out. You'll learn from your mistakes if it doesn't sell, and you'll start learning what factors have to be at play in order to pick something up. Next up is what I'm going to say. I have no data to back this up other than my experiences, but this must be the most popular style in Lululemon women's stuff, because it has been multiple times now that I have listed these and they have sold the same day and on 2 platforms. It's happened multiple times now. So I think in the future, if I come across Lululemon women's dance studio pants, I'm just going to list them on one platform because I know they're going to sell that day. I mean, it's crazy how lightning fast these have sold. And I don't even think that I'm pricing them low either, because I'm pricing them along with what everyone else is pricing them for. They just have that high of sell-through rate. So if you guys come across these, I definitely recommend getting them. They have a very distinct look to them, but you can always look up the style if you've got the size dot with the style. This one did not, or you can do a Google lens. I paid $4.99 for these. We always list these for around $50, and this one sold very quickly on an offer to watcher for $42.40. So I'm usually getting anywhere between $40 and $60 for these. Next up is a pair of women's jeans, and this is Rag & Bone. They don't have a 100% sell-through rate. However, they have enough value that I'm willing to sit on them. Plus, these were a high-rise flare jean, so I felt very confident in getting them. We paid $6.99 for these. We listed lower than everyone else just to make sure that they sold quickly, because like I said, sell-through rate was not there. And they sold for our full asking price at $39.88. And I think that that is a good price if you would like them to move quickly. All right, this is a gorgeous Ralph Lauren top that I got from Trash Pandas Wholesale. It is very heavy beaded mesh like overlay top, and it is really pretty. It goes along with like the witchy aesthetic that some people are doing right now. It is very ornate and, great brand. I just thought it was really gorgeous. And these are pieces, like, if I was at a thrift store, I don't know that I would see this and like pull it out of the rack to look at it, because I wouldn't think that it's Ralph Lauren, which is nice to have. It's nice to be buying from other people who have a different outlook on things and are able to bring things to the table that maybe I'm passing on. And it's been really helpful for me. So this thing is gorgeous. I paid just over $5 for this. We listed for $45, and it sold on an offer to watcher for $38.15, which is pretty good for something that is sheer. Next up is one of my favorite bread and butter brands. It is J. Jill. We try to focus on linens and or the larger sizes in this brand. Larger plus sizes in this brand have a super high sell-through rate. Other things do not, and then you have to lean on factors, but 3X I'm definitely getting. This was a 3X linen jacket. It was very like art to wear, had some embroidery and patchwork detail on the back. All around a good pickup. I paid $4.99. We listed for $40. It sold on an offer to watcher for about $34. Here's another JGL piece. This one is not a plus size, but it is a size large. It is their Love Linen line, and like I said, we do heavily lean on linen in this brand, and their linen dresses perform really well. Also got this in wholesale for just over $5, and it sold for my full asking price of $39.88. This one is another, like, kind of just got it off of style. It is a plus size women's overall, and it is like bubblegum pink. And I got it because that Barbie movie's coming out, and so Barbie core aesthetic is really heavy right now, and so I leaned on that a little bit. But in general, Old Navy plus size stuff, if it's substantial, if it's, got overalls or it's a maxi dress, can perform really well. So I might have got this anyways, regardless of that. But the pink color definitely helped to pull it through. I paid $4.99. It sold for my full asking price of $34.88, which, by the way, was kind of a made up price on our end because I was not seeing anything like this. So I just priced a little higher and hoped for the best. And it all worked out. Next up is a a category that I lean very heavy on in spring and summer. They are men's golf pants, and Under Armour can be a great brand to do that. We actually found these new with tags, and they were called the Showdown pant. I don't normally see a style name in Under Armour men's golf pants, and I get the ones without style names on the inside, but this one is newer to me, and it performs really well. It was called the Showdown pant. Like I said, this one was new with tags. It was all over white, which kind of scared me, but we checked it all over for falls and it was good to go. We paid $5.50 for this, listed for $45 because it was new with tags, and it sold on an offer to watcher very quickly for $38.15. All right, moving on to Poshmark. This is another wholesale item, and this is another example of something that, I might not have gotten, but I don't know. Like I said, people are bringing stuff to my attention. I'm looking at things in a new way. This is a Free People velvet lace tunic top, and what I found interesting was when this particular wholesaler sends me stuff, she includes like keywords and style aesthetics sometimes, and so she used the word witchy, which I now know is a very popular aesthetic, and I've sold several things now with the keyword witchy in the title, and I'm learning that keyword performed really well. So if you've got something that could be considered witchy, maybe consider putting it into your listing because it's performing really well for me. So this is a Free People top. It is a size large, so that helped to sell it, but I don't normally sell Free People tops for $40. So that's why I wanted to bring this up. Paid just over $5 for it. We listed for, I think, around $50 on Poshmark, accepted an offer of $38. And yeah, I think it was just a lot of factors stacking on this, but it's really gorgeous. Next up is a brand that doesn't always have a 100% sell-through rate, but I really do like picking up this brand, and it sells really well on Poshmark. It is Buff Bunny. And this brand is an athletic wear brand, and from what I can tell, their leggings are like the most popular thing, and I really love finding it. I found these bike shorts in a size medium, and I figured I could probably get $25 for it. So I paid $4.49, and we listed it for $30 on Poshmark to account for offers. It ends up selling for $25 on Poshmark, which is exactly what I was hoping to get for it. But I wanted to show you guys this athletic wear brand if you weren't familiar with it. Next up is another wholesale pickup I paid just over $5 for. It is Lafayette 148. It is a designer brand, and some of their stuff can perform well. It doesn't always have a 100% sell-through rate. However, I'm willing to sit on it just because I do get a good amount for it. This one actually sold very quickly. It is just a button-up top, kind of like ruched detail dressy office shirt, but it was a size 14 large. We listed this, I think, for $55 on Poshmark, and I accepted an offer of $45. And like I said, that one sold pretty quickly, probably because of the larger size. Next up is more of a bread and butter thing I've been relying on. They are Abercrombie & Fitch men's jeans. They seem to be performing well. Now, their men's jeans usually have a style name on them, so I would suggest looking that up. But in general, this is a category that is selling for like $25 to $35 for me, unless I find like a really great style. But it has become more bread and butter, and if I can find it at a low price, I will get them. I found these for half off, so I paid $3.50 for them. We listed them for $35 on Poshmark. They sold for $30 on an offer. Next up is also something I've been heavily leaning on as bread and butter. It is the Chico's Travelers Slinky Pants, and I don't know what else to say other than there is a very specific texture. It's like a really stretchy knit, and so anything in the Chico's Travelers category in larger sizes we get. This one's actually a maxi skirt. I do better with the pants, but this is a maxi skirt size 2, which translates to a size large, and this one sold very quickly. We paid about $4.50 for it. It sold for $23 on Poshmark, and like I said, it's not like super high ASP, but definitely really quick flipping bread and butter and really easy to spot. Here is another Free People item. This is an Intimately Free People sweater tank, and it's 100% cashmere. Like I said, I'm selling a lot of cashmere pieces, so I wanted to throw this out there. I also got this in wholesale for just over $5, and it sold for $29 on Poshmark. This is kind of a random one, but I've had a lot of luck recently if I come across like an all over printed button-up shirt with like pop culture on it, or it's just really colorful. I am looking it up now, and it has been a good strategy because I found a lot of high sell-through rate pieces. This one did not go for much, but it did sell quickly. It is David Carey Originals, and it is a Day of the Dead like all over print Dia de los Muertos shirt. So I was happy with that, but I wanted to just share that strategy with you because like I said, it's been performing pretty well for me. We paid $4.99 for this, and it sold very quickly at $25, and you know, some of the brands that I'm finding are going anywhere from $25 to $35. This is a pretty decent sale. This is a brand I do like finding, but I'm trying to stick to the more substantial pieces. It is Outdoor Research. This is a woman's full zip jacket in a size large, and surprisingly sold again in the middle of summer. So these pieces I would say don't always have a high sell-through rate, but again, I'm willing to hold out for a decent price because I do know they have a pretty decent following. I paid $7.99 for this, and we listed for around $55 on Poshmark. It ended up selling it for $46, which is an offer sent to watchers. This is a pretty interesting sale, and I wanted to share this with you guys. So this is a bag that I found at a thrift store. And this thrift store usually prices their like designer items very, very high, even if they're fake. So there's a lot of fakes at that store. So I have to be very careful when I pick something up at any store because I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake, and I have to rely on, you know, education that I taught myself and other people's sold comps. So I came across this Prada bag. And let me just say that this was in very used condition. It had very significant wear, and you'll see I even put discoloration throughout. A lot of fading, but it did feel high quality. And despite all of the fading and everything happening, I do know that sometimes people will still buy these things just because of the brand label. It also occurred to me that this apparently is a much older bag and they don't make this style anymore. So for all of those reasons, I said, you know what? I am going to take a chance on this. And my thrift store only priced it for $9.99, which is very low for that thrift store. So I picked it up. I was like, $10, you know, I'm going to risk it. And I'm glad I did. I only put this on Poshmark because on eBay, they have a very, very, very strict policy about authenticating stuff, yada, yada, yada. Poshmark does too, but they're not as strict. So in these cases, sometimes I'll only list something on Poshmark. Not to say in the future that might not change with their policy, but I did feel very confident that it was real, and I made sure to include all of the wear on it. Like I said, I paid $10 for it. This has sat for a couple of months, but it finally ended up selling for an offer of $126, and I was thrilled. So $10 into $126. I don't even know what the split ends up being on that. I think, actually, I've got it right here. So my net from Poshmark after fees was a little over $100. So I made about $90 on this chance that I took on a very distressed bag. Now, am I telling you to always do this on really distressed stuff? No, but sometimes things are worth taking a risk on. You just want to really put the research in, and I'm happy I did with this bag. Next up is another bread and butter. I feel like I show this every single video, but you know, we're finding it where we live, and also I'm getting it sent this in wholesale. So it can be pretty common to come across depending on what state you live in. I did get this one in wholesale, so I paid just over $5 for it. These don't sell for much. They are figs, scrub pants and tops, and men's and women's. But they always flip for right around $25, and they are really quick flips, so I love picking them up. This one sold for $25. It was called the Black Chasma 3-pocket scrub top. Next up is definitely a factor stacking piece. I know when I focus on higher average sale price items in these videos, which is the goal, because we all would probably agree that we want to know what the bolos are. I usually get comments about still including some bread and butter stuff, so I'm trying to do that in this video, and hopefully you can tell. This is an item that is in a brand I don't normally get, which is Gap, but it had a lot of great factors to stack, and it ended up being a pretty decent sale. So it is a Gap 100% linen boyfriend shirt, so a little bit oversized and in a size large. It was also a really gorgeous pale pink. We picked this up for $4.99. I listed it for $30 on Poshmark to account for offers, and accepted an offer of $22, and it sold pretty quickly. So even if you're in an area where you can't find some of these brands, you can rely on factor stacking. You just have to be very tactful when you do so. All right, this next one is one, I cannot remember where we got this. I want to say it came from one of you guys, but happy I learned about this brand because it has a super high sell-through rate, and I wanted to share it with you guys because this is something I would have passed on in the past. It is Vendula London, and it is a coin purse. Let me see if I can find a little brand label. I'm not sure that I'll be able to. Oh yeah, it says Vendula London on the inside liner. Who knew that coin purses could go for so much? This was super easy to list and to store. So I wanted to bring it to your attention. They make little coin purses like this. I think they might make a couple other things too, but if you see a little coin purse that looks like this, you might give it a look up because they have a very high sell-through rate, and you can get about $30 to $35 for them pre-owned. I picked this up for almost $6, listed it for $35, and someone accepted an offer for $28. And I believe that offer was sent out through my automatic Posher VA. If you guys aren't familiar with that extension, it is a tool that you can use, and you can have it kind of what I talked before about with eBay, where you're trying to capture the buyer. You can tell it on Poshmark to send out an offer like so many minutes after someone has watched an item to try and capture the sale. And once you set it up, it runs by itself, and you can do all of that in the background. You can have it share for you. It's a really, really fantastic tool. And I believe they also have a 2-week trial period where you don't even have to put in a credit card. So if you're like, man, that sounds great, but I don't know if I want to try it, go to the description of my videos, click on the Linktree, and all of my links are there. There is a link to Posher VA. There's also a discount code. And you can try it for 2 weeks for free and see if you like it. And then if you decide to keep it, you'll also have my discount code once you start paying for it. I cannot say enough good things about it. It's like having a little assistant for the whole month, every single day, but only for $25 a month. It's fantastic, and it definitely pays for itself. So a lot of these sales where I'm saying, an offer on Poshmark, most of them came from that. All right, I did have a couple of bundle sales that I thought were worth noting, and just wanted to kind of show you guys the breakdown of those. I know you guys ask about them a lot. This is a bundle that was pretty cool that sold. Someone purchased 4 Express Portofino tops from me in the same size, and this is where having a lot of items in your closet can really help because people start buying bundles of similar or the same items. And so I love moving bundles. I am so much more willing to give a bigger discount if I can move a lot of items. And actually, I've had a lot of people lately, even I think some subscribers recently purchasing bundles, adding a bunch of stuff to bundles, sending a lower offer, but I'm accepting it because I'm able to move a lot of stuff at once. Love, love, love bundles. If you guys didn't know, on Poshmark, you can set an automatic bundle discount that your buyers will be offered when they create a bundle. I have upped mine to 20% to encourage bundle sales. So whenever someone adds stuff to a bundle, they automatically get offered 20% off their entire order, which again, I'm willing to move things at a lower price to move them quicker and in more quantity. So here's a perfect example. I had these listed. 3 of them were $25. One of them was $30. That was because of the color. And the bundle price was $105. My automatic bundle discount was $21 off. And then less the Poshmark fee, the net earnings were $67.20. And I paid $4.99 for each of them. So it was a nice little bundle of some bread and butter items. And I really love I don't always love, but I like having a bigger closet sometimes for reasons like this. I don't love it for reasons like storage, but I thought I would share that with you guys. The Express Portofino tops are just button up tops by Express. They actually say Portofino on the brand label, and they're very great bread and butter, and clearly people love them. So I wanted to share that bundle with you guys. Next up is just a single sale. This is Eileen Fisher. Eileen Fisher linen stuff performs really well. This is a great example of that. They're a pair of organic linen pants, just a size 4, but the linen really pulled it through. We paid $4.89 for these, and they ended up selling on Poshmark for $44, which I believe was an offer sent by Posher VA. And you guys might have seen this dress before. We sold this dress on eBay and it got returned to us for fit. I relisted it and it actually ended up selling for more on Poshmark. So I'm super happy with that. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous Free People tiered maxi dress, and I listed it very high. I could not find the exact style name, even having some of the numbers on the inside, and Google Lens did not help, so I had to make up a price. I listed high. I paid $8.99 for it. It ended up selling on an offer of $95 on Poshmark. So if you're someone that's like, Free People is dead, I don't pick up Free People, you might consider picking up their maxi dresses because they can perform really, really well. And I was really happy with that sale, especially after it getting returned. All right, next up is another more bread and butter. It is Logo by Lori Goldstein, and we try to pick up their plus size pieces. This is a 2X/3X, really pretty floral cardigan. Paid $5 for this, and we listed for $35 on Poshmark. It sold with a Posher VA offer for $29. So really happy with that sale, and like I said, really great bread and butter that I still wanted to show you guys. This next one is a brand that I don't normally get, but I heavily leaned on style. It is a White House Black Market corset top, and it was very heavy, very ornate, and I don't know, I really liked it and heavily leaned on style. I paid about $6 for this, and we listed it, I think, for like $50 originally. We did think it was new without tags, and so listed it as such. It ended up selling for $35, which is pretty good. Corset tops, in my opinion, are very unique and sometimes can bring higher prices. Next up is a brand that I do like picking up. It is Rain Spooner. There are a lot of Hawaiian shirt brands out there. Not all of them perform well, but this is one that I think does perform well. So if you find Rain Spooner, definitely worth looking into. Depending on the print you have, can go for more or less. This one is just a a size extra large pink and blue floral one, and I don't even think it was silk at all. But it still ended up selling for $48 on Poshmark, and I paid $4.89. Here's another bundle sale that I just wanted to show you guys the breakdown of, just show you insight into some other things that you don't normally get to see. I sold 2 pieces that were pretty similar, and I wanted to share those with you. One was a Sundance dress. The other one was a vintage brand dress that I've not really heard of before, and I'm going to show you guys in a moment. The Sundance one was listed for $45. The other one was listed for $60. In total, the bundle price ended up being $105 with my automatic 20% off discount of 20%, which took off $21. Less the Poshmark fee, ended up a net earnings of $67.20. And I paid about $12 for the total of those. So really great return on investment on that. And like I said, really worthy offering the incentive of the 20% off. So here is that Sundance dress. Sundance is a brand I love picking up, and in larger sizes can perform really, really well. This is a gorgeous like gauzy knee length long sleeved dress. And then the other one in that bundle is this SA Rose, made in San Antonio, Texas, 100% linen plus size kind of login looky dress. And I wanted to show you guys this one because this was definitely a factor stacking one. You know, it was maxi, it was plus size, it was linen, and it also had log and look details to it. All of those things, I would have picked this up in just about any brand. So something worth noting. And these like modest looking dresses, especially in larger sizes, I've noticed have a really good following. So I wanted to share with you guys that sale. And last item is more of a bread and butter as well. I haven't talked about this brand a lot in a while, but for some reason lately, all of the Territory Ahead stuff is selling. So I thought it was worth noting. This is a men's The Territory Ahead linen silk shirt in a larger size with some really gorgeous multicolor striping to it. But even my more plain stuff in this brand has just been flipping really quickly. So if you see a Territory Ahead in men's button-up shirts, in my opinion, great bread and butter. I think they're doing really well, especially in larger sizes. They're usually selling for me between $25 and $30, and yeah, can be good bread and butter. I paid $4.99 for this. It ended up selling for $29, which was an offer that Posher VA automatically sent out once somebody watched it. And you can also see only a few people had watched this when they sold. So it really just goes to show that I was able to capture that sale very quickly by sending out an offer as soon as somebody had liked it.
Alright guys, that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below. I make these videos every single week, and if you hit the notification bell down below, you'll be notified every single time I post these videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.